Chris, good to see you again,
Hey,
buddy.
man. Great to see you.
Last time I saw you, I was, you're one of the few people that I wouldn't feel awkward this happening. And I didn't. I want to say this to begin with. I didn't feel awkward. But my wife and I were sitting, and I always feel weird approaching a sitting table that's eating. And luckily, we know you, and you came up, and we were sitting at our Urban Market. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? One of the maybe 3 people that it wouldn't be awkward as we're sitting, and they came and dominate us. Because you're standing, you're dominant. You're over the top. You're like, hey, how's it going? And we're looking up at you.
And I'm so dominating.
Yes. We're like, oh, my goodness.
5'9".
Chris is so dominating. That's the last. I saw you there, and we went to your Easter show last year.
Yeah, thank you for coming for that.
I think that's our 2 run-ins in the past few months.
Yes.
But social media is so weird, though, because I feel like, even though I'm not, I kind of feel like I'm still keeping up. I see stuff. So I'm like, I know what Chris is up to.
Yes, of course.
I was thinking about it yesterday because my in-laws were talking about Easter, and they are either going to come here to do the show, or we're going to go there to Oklahoma and do something there. But the selling point was, I know Chris Tomlin.
I'm
just letting you know. The selling point was, let's go. The show's all, and I know Chris. So
and I know Chris, and we'll hang.
So if we win, that's why. But if we lose, that's why. It wasn't quite strong enough.
I like it, bro. I can't wait to see which way it goes.
How you been?
I'm doing good, man. Doing great.
I was looking through, and I rarely will just address the notes that I have just right off the bat, but I just need help a little bit.
Okay.
Because
sorry.
No, you're killing it. And it's so much. I'm going to ask questions in ways that I don't understand about things, because you're so involved in so many really cool projects that I just need to know the capacities you're involved.
Yeah, okay.
So first, House of David.
Yes.
Okay, so we were just talking about that before you come in.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of your songs I know is in the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Which is After Your Heart?
After Your Heart.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm involved.
Okay, well, not all. That is how you're involved.
That's how I'm involved.
Okay.
Yes, I approached that in the last fall and said, hey, they're coming out with this. And I was so excited. Anything about David, I mean, I could go on and on, but I was like, are you kidding me? This is going to be, I hope they do this well, because it's going to be, what an incredible story. So, yeah, man, that was how I was involved. And I was, as I normally am, in the middle of the night, is when the ideas came. And I had this idea, and I think it's one of my favorite lyrics I've ever written. And it was the first line of the song. And I got up in the middle of the night and just sang it into my phone. And it said this. It says, I got a sling in one hand. I got a harp in one hand and a sling in the other. For the battles I fight with these. And I thought, that's David. And so I wrote this song called After Your Heart. The Bible says David was a man after God's own heart. And so I wrote this little idea of all his ups and downs, his triumphs and his failures. And so that was my favorite. It's one of my favorite things I've gotten to write.
Did they approach you about doing a song for it first, and then that came as you had it on your mind, or was it the?
Yeah, it was. We're making this House of David. Do you have a song about David? And I was like, I don't, but I've never written a song about him. But I'd like the challenge.
I guess to me, it would go, in my mind, I would go, well, which version? Like, which part of the David story, right?
Yes.
As like the king, the powerful, or David, as you talk about, the sling. Like, there's different, it's like Michael Jordan. Do you talk about his early years with the Bulls? Do you do when he won 3-3? Do you do the Wizards? You know? So that, to me, that would be what I would think about how, if I were going to do a song about David.
It's a big story.
Did they give you a part of, like,
no, they gave zero, because at that point they didn't have a lot of guides. They're like, oh, we don't have a lot of guides. Just kind of write something. And, they said Psalm 40 is taken, Psalm 23 is taken, and which is, I figured, but like write something from just anything you think about. So that idea of David being, the worship leader of the Bible, right? He wrote the songs. He wrote the songs of the time of praise to God, right? The Psalms. I always kid that one day I'm going to meet David in heaven and he's going to have words with me, because I get a lot of credit for things he wrote, because I take all my songs from the Psalms. And so when that line came, that opening line, I've got a harp in one hand and a sling in the other. For the battles I fight with these. I thought that's David. He had a heart for God, and he was a warrior. And that idea of that harp and that sling, those two things, two completely different weapons, but both, one is kind of the spiritual world, and one is the physical world. And he was a fighter in both.
So before I move to the next thing,
Sorry.
Hearing you talk about things, I have like 100 questions based on what you just said. But when I am doing comps, Bible comps to myself, and people that I either want to emulate or things I want to avoid, I think about Saul, how prideful Saul was, and the diminishing king.
Yes.
And pride is really what cost him.
Yes.
And that's a comp that I make that I try not to be.
Yeah.
And because again, David ends up following Saul.
Yeah.
You know the story. I don't have to tell you the story.
No, but it's amazing because Saul would say, "Play the harp," right? Because it eased him.
And I try to not be Saul.
Right.
I just read The Alchemist. You ever read that?
Yes, I have. I can't remember it. I read it so long ago.
I loved it. And it was one of those books that everybody's always read or read a long time ago. And I just never have. And I'm in a place now in my life where I kind of don't know. In many ways, I am exactly where I want to be, but I've never been more lost at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like this odd juxtaposition. Like I know exactly who I am, but I also have no clue, more than ever.
Mm.
And I was flipping through books because I like to read. I just finished a fiction book, and I'm usually not even a fiction reader. And I flipped to like 7 or 8, and for no reason, The Alchemist came up, and I clicked it and read it. And I read it in like a day and a half. And not that I'm a pretty fast reader, but I was just so in, and it's about finding your personal legend.
Yes.
And not really attached to any religion.
Right.
Because there are references to Christ and Allah and all, but they make sure to go, this is not specifically related to religion.
Right.
And in that, there's a pride theme. And I thought about
Saul.
just this story specifically.
Yeah.
And you talking about that just kind of re-triggered that as I try to not be Saul.
Yeah.
Like that's what I try, I try to not be Saul. David's an odd, remarkable, amazing story.
It's
all of those.
It's all of it. It's the triumph and the failure. I mean, he failed as big as you can fail, and I mean, I don't think too many people have done worse than he's done, and yet somehow he had this heart after God too, and so it's very relatable, I think, to anybody. I think that's why I'm so excited they were doing something like this. Like that is so relatable to anyone. A lot of people are like, well, I'm never going to be a king of anything, but that's just the power of his story, and just like he didn't have it all together. I think we look at these especially Bible characters, like there's these mythical creatures, like they're these saints, and wow, man, these just had so many flaws, and yet did incredible things as well.
I'm going to run another something by it. We just talked about it on a podcast last week. And I was talking about misunderstood, finger quote, villains.
Yeah.
And I bring up Judas.
Oh, man. Okay, we can get going on this.
And so, and I was talking to one of my friends who reads the Bible every day.
Yeah.
And to most people, just the name Judas, because of how it's referenced for the most part, obviously is one who betrays.
Yes.
He betrayed Christ. And how I had suggested on a microphone to my friend, on second look, if Jesus is all-knowing, which he is, that had to be put into place.
Yeah.
For all of it to happen, the crucifixion.
Yes.
So Judas would not have been there to begin with if it weren't for Jesus.
Right.
Judas betrayed Jesus, just as was predicted. Judas is seen as the betrayal.
The villain, yeah.
Very much so. But my presentation, I wouldn't even say argument, because we were just looking at characters, fictional or nonfiction, that we have assigned a tag to. We did Benedict Arnold, and it was, but we spent a lot of time on Judas. And I really feel like old Judas kind of gets the raw end sometimes. because I feel like he was selected to do just that.
Yeah.
And without him doing just that, the crucifixion, all of it, none of it would have happened.
Right.
And so, in conclusion of my mini TED Talk, I said, I feel like we should give Judas a second look and maybe understand that Christ understood what needed to happen for what needed to happen to happen. What are your thoughts on that theory?
Let's go. Let's just go deep in. Right?
This was literally on the last podcast we did.
Okay, so I just got to be a part of this movie called The Last Supper. And the reason I was interested in being a part of the movie and helping get the word out about this movie is because it took the different look. The Last Supper, obviously Jesus is the central character, but really it's Peter and Judas. It's through the lens of Peter and Judas, both of whom, don't have a great part in this story of the Last Supper. Well, with Judas, what I was so moved by is that that moment in at the scene. Okay, let me just set the scene. They're in Jesus, like, okay, let's have this Passover meal. It's Passover time, and let's have this meal and get it all together, and just like they would normally do, year after year after year. But this time it was different, and he began to wash their feet, and that's the famous where he starts washing Peter's feet. He's like, "What are you doing?" Peter's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm not even worthy to tie your sandals. What are you doing?" And Jesus like, "This is I'm showing you. I'm serving you, and this is what I want you to do to others." And he washes Judas, and you're like, and then and I was really struck by the movie. I was like, I've been a follower of Jesus. I've been a Christian most of my life since I was a kid, and I've studied and I've read the Bible and I've heard all the stories, and yet I saw it brand new again because I saw this moment where Jesus changes the whole thing, and he takes the bread as he normally would pass around, but this time he breaks it, and he's like, "This is my body. Actually, I'm about to be broken for you." And you see the guys, you see these disciples, you see these brothers, these friends. They're just friends, right? We know them as the Saint Thomas and Saint Matthew and these were normal guys, and they're trying to figure it out. And which is crazy is most of them, I learned through this, most of them were teenagers or early 20s. So think about that. They're 18, 19 years old. They're about to change the entire world. And Jesus, like, he changes the whole thing. He's like, "I'm breaking this." And he starts handing the bread because this is actually my body. And they're looking at each other like, "Whoa, this is different. This is not how this normally goes." And then he takes the cup and he's like, "And this is my blood. This is what's about to happen." He goes, "And once you remember me, you do this." And yet he gives the bread and he gives it, and Judas and Peter are there. And I'm thinking, I just saw it brand new because I'm thinking, wow, this is the picture, the forgiveness of God, that all for me, for you, for everybody who's listening to this, how powerful that even though Jesus knew what was coming, he knew that he was about to go to the cross. They did not understand. They were still trying to figure it out. Like, what is he talking about? He's like, it's all coming down to, it's all about to happen. I'm about to be killed for the sins of the world. And yet he knew that one of them, he's looking at one of them, and you're going to deny me. I know you're going to go and say, even though you say you're going to be with me till the end, you're about to say you don't even know who I am. When a little girl asks you, "Aren't you with him?" And you're going to say, "No, I don't even know who that is." And then Judas, you're about to go for some money, turn me in. And that kind of what you're kind of getting at, that to me shows the side of the gospel, of the good news, of this message. It puts it in a powerful way of like, man, Jesus knew this, like you said, and yet he's like, "I'm doing this for you. Even though I know what you're about to do, this is still for you." And and then when I saw myself, I just saw myself in those guys. How much in me is man, sometimes I'm Peter and I'm the bodyguard. Jesus, I will, no one's going to take you. I will go with you to the end. And then I find myself through my actions, through my words, denying him. I find myself betraying. I find myself in the same place. And so I think that's why that picture is there, is to help people, to help me, and to help us remember that this is for those who were going to betray and to wrong Jesus. And yet it was for them and it's for the world, for all of us, because we're all in that basket. none of us. It may look a little bit different, but we're all in that basket with those guys. And so that's been such a beautiful picture and reminder to me this Easter season, because of being a part of that movie and helping get that made and showing that picture to people again of just that moment.
So would you support my theory of, since Jesus is all knowing and he knew that he was going to do it and that needed to happen, that I don't think he should just be universally be the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to agree, by the way. You can totally
No.
like, you're a moron, because I hear that all day. All day, every day. That's all I hear all day.
No, there's not a lot of people been named Judas since then. And not,
Exactly. I know.
Not
a couple names that have died. Judas, Adolf. There have been a few of these that we just don't do anymore. Yes.
Judas Bones.
Yes. None of that.
Judas Bones is not happening. But yeah, there's a reason for that. But yes, I mean, it was that was part of the plan. And Judas was part of the plan. And so I will say this, and this is not to be over spiritual, but if we throw Judas away, we might as well throw everybody else away.
Exactly my point. That's not over spiritual. That's just talking about the topic we're talking about.
Yeah, it's because any of us who has it together, who wouldn't?
Well, I see a bit. I say I try not to be Saul, but I want to be more David. But there's definitely Saul in me. There's definitely David in me. There's definitely Judas. It's
in us.
We're all that.
Yeah,
and it's
human nature.
For me, I'm just trying to push down the characteristics I don't like, and really trying to accentuate the ones that I do.
Yes.
You did No Greater Love for the Last Supper.
Yes.
In that, you're in credits. Is it a different song?
It's No Greater Love is in the end credits of the.
That's when it airs.
Yes.
How much of it do they run the whole song, and are you mad people walk out during your song?
Exactly. I'm like, this is the only. I just want to say, hey guys, wait, because as soon as it starts rolling, I know everybody's getting up. I'm like, wait, please listen to the song.
Did they?
They ran the whole song.
They run the whole song.
Yeah.
And did they tell you write a song for it, or did you have it?
That's how I got involved with the movie. Obviously, it started with music. They didn't come to me, hey, we know you make great movies, because that's never happened. And it first started with music, and these guys, the producers and people putting this movie together, said, "Do you have any music for this? Any song for this that could work?" And I said, "Well, let me see can I see this? The screening of it. It showed me kind of the idea of what they had so far." And I was like, "I really like this. Like, would you like to be involved in a greater way?" And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I think I have a song. And so the crazy thing is, I had just gone out to Sun Valley, Idaho. Tyler Hubbard had asked me and a couple songwriters. He wanted to put together a little songwriting camp together out there at Ernest Hemingway's house.
Matt Jenkins is part of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, one of our buddies here. Yeah.
Matt and Corey Crowder and Matt Jenkins and Tyler Hubbard. It's like, hey, would you like to come out? And we're going to write at Ernest Hemingway's place. I was like, oh my gosh. That'd be so cool. And obviously it's a historical landmark, and you can use the basement, and a lot of poets come and write poetry there, stuff like that. So we were writing, and I thought, oh, this is my chance to, write some country music, and that'd be fun. I don't ever get in that lane, hardly ever. And as soon as I get there, they're like, hey, we want to write a song with you. We want to write like in your world. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. And they're like, and Matt Jenkins said, I just been thinking about this line. I've been thinking about this verse, no greater love. In John 15, he said, no greater love than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. This is in January, okay? He's like, I just keep thinking about that verse. There's no greater love than a man lay down his life for his friends. And have you have a song like that? I was like, I don't. He said, what about that? I was like, let's do it. And so we wrote this song, No Greater Love. And made this demo, and it's really beautiful. I think it's a powerful, powerful lyric, and the idea of trading the crown of Jesus, trading the crown of glory for a crown of thorns, and just the sacrifice, right? And a couple weeks later, I get approached with this movie. Do you guys have a song that could work with this? And I was like, wow, I played them this song. I was like, I got this demo. I haven't played it for anybody. I just wrote this song with some friends. Let me play you this demo. And they're like, this is the song. This is perfect for this. So it was one of those moments where I feel like things were lined up, and I was like, let's do it. So I got involved in not just a song for the movie, but just helping shape a little bit more.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like your worlds you're expanding.
Yes. Oh, so fun.
But the expansion's cool because you're getting involved in things by doing what you already do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's
yes.
other things it's just really cool to see the growth of like what you do and how it's incorporated into other projects.
And it was natural for me. It's, it's not like a movie or a subject I don't know anything about. So it was really good. Like this worked for me because I was like, yeah, I would love to share more about this and help people see.
The Good Friday show was so good last year. First time I'd been. It was awesome.
Thank you, man.
And but frankly speaking, I was like, I want to go. I think it's going to be good. I like Chris, so I hope it's good. Because if not, it's going to be kind of awkward. If I'm like, I'm not going to tell you it's not. I wouldn't be like, man, lackluster show, huh?
Can't be friends.
But it's always weird to watch because I don't know you in that way. Meaning, I know what you do. I know your music. But I've never been to a concert. I don't go to anybody's concerts anymore because either I'm on the road or I'm asleep. That's it. Yeah. And so we go. We were very excited about it, and it was amazing. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You've done what I found. If I'm remembering this correct, I think you said that night you were like, "We're doing it again next year."
Yep.
And then do you put tickets on sale right then?
Right then.
This thing's sold out.
Sold out.
Packed to the gills. Is it sold out again this year?
Sold out.
Okay, but I can bring my in-laws though. Do you have a couple extra in case we decide to come?
I know some people, so
okay,
we can get you in. But here's the fun thing, man, is we sold. This is the earliest it's ever sold out this year, and this is our 9th year. And what I love about it is I didn't market. There's no marketing of anything. It just says Good Friday Nashville. There's no names on the poster. No one even knows who's going to play because it's surprises. But in the past, I have said, hey, it's me, and here's a few people, and then I have some surprises. This year, I didn't even put anybody on there. And so that is really special to me, that people just want to come. They know it's going to be a special night, and they just want to be there, and it's filled up, and it's going to be, I can tell you, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be the night of nights. If you can, it's going to be streamed. If you can't get to Nashville or not there, but it's really a beautiful night.
I want to ask you a question about your job.
Yes.
We both love our jobs. Our jobs are a massive part of who we are. Hopefully, they're not all of who we are.
Right.
But being so immersed in your work, how do you keep it fresh, especially something that is thousands of years old?
Mm-hmm.
How are you able to constantly keep it fresh?
Like in the music side of things? Or?
Sure, anything creative.
Anything.
Because
right.
You can go hymns. I mean, we can walk through even,
yeah,
the 80s and 90s. And when I started from Carmen, I'd go to Carmen shows.
Yeah.
Or you do Jars of Clay, Newsboys. All of that. Like there has been Christian music in all ways.
Yeah.
Sonically, but the message is the same. So
right.
How do you make it different when the message should remain somewhat the same?
Yeah. That's a great question. I mean, I think it's just been something that I didn't, first of all, and I mean this, I never chose this. I feel like it chose me. This is something that I felt called to since I was a kid. And it's like a burning passion in me. I never thought it would be music. I thought it would be something to help people connect with God. I didn't know it would be music, but so that this whatever this pull inside of me is something that I don't have to keep trying to keep going. It's always there.
Like angles on songs. Because even in country music, which is always evolving and changing, and you have so much more to work with, it feels like, than the message.
Mm-hmm.
Even these guys who are my friends are like, we keep writing the same song over and over again. We just got to find a slightly different way.
Yeah.
You're doing it on something that's been written over thousands of years.
Thousands of years. And I just got, which we can get into, I just got to be a part of a song that's literally 1,800 years old. It'll be the earliest song ever found in our faith that we're about to put out. It's a whole nother, it's a documentary, everything. It's insane. We can get to that. But this is, it's always trying to help people. Here's what I try to do. For me, it's help. I've always said I want to help people see. If I can help people see, then they'll sing. The more you see, the more you sing. And what I mean by that is for me in my songs, if I can help give people a picture in their heart, in their mind, of God's goodness, His grace, His mercy, His forgiveness, His glory, and write that in a way that helps people see, then you can't help but praise. If I can help people see it, then they'll praise God. And for me, it's always been about, I think the beautiful thing is it's always been about the song for me, helping people connect with the song. It's not been about, hey, I've got to build my brand and me. I've never tried to do that. I've just tried to help. I've tried to hopefully just the song is what this is the star. The song is what is connects with people, and so it's just pushing for the best songs possible. And just lately with this song "Holy Forever," it's been another moment. Like I've had these moments along with this. It's almost 30 years now, man. 30 years of touring and traveling, and I've had these moments, these little marking moments of like these songs that I can just look and go, that was the kind of tent pole in that moment, and to be this far along and and God give me a song like "Holy Forever" that's really connected around the world again, and it's been so special. And I can tell you when I was writing it, I was thinking, okay, this feels like I never feel this, but when I sent a text to a friend of mine and said, I feel like this song is going to be really, really special in some way. And it's been incredible.
If I wrote songs like you, I would send every song to a different friend, so I could always say, I texted this song to a friend and knew it was going to be special. So I wouldn't be lying. I would just text different friends all one song and be like,
That's
this song,
brilliant.
You have it down. It's on record. I said this song is going to be very special.
This song, yeah.
Yeah. Whenever, because I want to hear the story about the song that...
Yeah.
But to me, Wagon Wheel, which was like a Bob Dylan semi-finished demo that existed randomly, was never put out, and then Catch from Old Crow finishes writing it.
Yes.
And then Wagon Wheel becomes massive. They do it, then Darius does it. So that's a version of a story that I think of when it's like an old song that isn't totally done is then finished and then is, I won't say, but relevant.
Yes.
Right, brought back to life.
Yes.
So give me your version of this that you're talking about. This song is 1,600 years old?
1,800 years old. So I got approached this year, this last fall, with this guy from, his name is Ben Fielding. He's a songwriting friend. He said, hey, I want to connect you with this friend of mine. He's a brainiac. His name is John Dickinson, and he's from Australia. And he said, I've got this song. I want somebody to bring this song back. He goes, there was this piece of scrap paper that was found in Egypt, in a town called Oxyrhynchus in Egypt. And he said, it's in a vault in Oxford now. It's just a little piece of scrap paper, and it's the earliest known song with musical notation. It has musical notation on it. The notation makes no sense to us. I don't even understand what it is, but it's in that time, and it's dated to the 3rd century, so the 200s. And it's a piece of a hymn, and it's missing about 10 to 12 words, but it's got like 25, 30 words on it, and they're beautiful and they're powerful. He said, we've translated it, and it's translated, and here is the old melody, and I can't really, it's really interesting melody, but would you and Ben, this other songwriter friend, would y'all be interested in maybe bringing this to life again and bringing this back and bringing this hymn? And he said, we're making a documentary because there's so many things about this hymn that are special. And so we did. And so it releases in a week from now, and it's called The First Hymn. And the lyrics are beautiful.
I think this week, Mike, right? Because it's airing this. Yeah, so it's out this Friday.
Yeah.
Or is it out now?
I think it'll be out now.
Okay. Hey, it's out now?
It's out now.
It's out now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's out now. So The First Hymn. And when you hear this, here's some, I wish I could tell the backstory for everybody who listens to this, but who hears the song, but here's why this is such a big deal, is to think about these words that are being sung are not only, almost 2,000 years old. This would have been the grandkids of the disciples, right? This had been that generation, and this is what they were singing. This was a time when those that were spreading this message of Christianity would have been killed. They were trying to wipe Christianity out. This is under incredible persecution. So obviously it's anonymous. Did these guys who wrote this or make it or were singing this, did they even make it? Who knows? But would they ever dream that wherever they were in their little cave singing this song together, or their little house together, that 1,800 years from now, that this would be on a thing called Spotify or Apple Music, and people be starting to sing this, and the church be starting to sing this again? That's powerful to me. There's a couple of things. There's the last line of the hymn says, and to the
That you wrote or that's on there?
it's on there.
Okay.
It says, to the only giver of all good gifts, amen, amen. And the guy, this historian who said why this was so important is in that day and time, pagan worship, mostly to Zeus and other gods, would to worship them, to go into any kind of worship service, quote unquote, you would start with to the giver of all good gifts. And that's how all of worship would start, to the giver of all good gifts. He says, and for this little ragtag remnant of people to end their song with to the only giver of all good gifts was it was just such a pushback to society and culture, and it's powerful, and I think that it's just a powerful thing, and it just so to be a part of that, and like you said, what kind of music, what kind of songs have that kind of history? You know, I was thinking about this long line of songs and music that we just try to keep carrying on throughout the ages is so special.
What do the music notes look like? Because
they look like they look a little bit like they almost look like Chinese characters or something like that.
So not like the stick with the fat little bowl on it.
None like that.
Yeah,
none like that. In the melody, we have you hear a girl singing this. We brought in this Egyptian girl to the hook is the ancient melody, and it's Amen, Amen, and the word Amen, but they would sing it all together. Amen, 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 Amen. And so we have this guitar line, and she's singing that over. And so again, most people who hear that will not have any context for it, but literally that melody was 1,800 years ago.
When you finished that, I don't know, what's that feel like? Because you just kind of redid it again.
I mean, it's a little bit of trembling because I was like, I just want to carry this well. I mean, I want to get it right. I want to do the very best I can. And with such a gift, such a song that, you know, meant a lot to those people and means a lot today. And so, yeah, you just never know. I never know if songs are like, this is it, you know. But especially something like this, you're like, this is the best I can do, and I hope it does it justice.
So the first hymn, you can listen to it, but also it's on Wonder, the platform Wonder, if you want to watch the documentary. What if, I'm just going to throw this at you, what if they find an older song, and this is the second hymn? Have you thought about that?
I definitely have.
Because all of a sudden...
I have. And so I went back 10 times. It's like, should we really call this the first hymn? Because obviously there's the Psalms. The Psalms are older than that.
True.
And but this is the first ever. It is the first song ever found with musical notation, and it's to find. They said the chances of finding something would be, who knows, hundreds of years from now, and so then I won't have to deal with it. Something else, but
it'd just be my luck though. They find another one like a week after we're done,
and it's a week earlier.
Yeah, and it's like the real first hymn, and I'm like, oh man,
this was from the 50.
Yes,
the year 50.
I feel like there would be an immense pressure on you to love Christmas.
To love Christmas.
Not even for the Jesus element.
You're right.
You just need to like embrace Christmas. And if you're not Christmas, I mean, your name is Chris. And
Christmas Tomlin.
Yeah. I feel like there's a pressure that you got to be Mr. Christmas just around the house.
No, definitely not around the house. But
like the biggest light display. Like you got to be. Do you feel that pressure?
Hilarious. I love how this goes from where did we went from here to Christmas like that quick.
Well, I just think when you're talking about things, I'm like, you know, in my mind, I've got 8 things going at once. Like, and we've had the discussion where I think everybody acts like they have to be on their P's and Q's around you because you'll just literally call God and be like, and tell on them. Like I told you that last time. I said, people, they probably act in a way towards you where they can't be themselves. And then I found myself the victim of that because we were having a party. And I told Caitlin, I was like, hey, let's invite Chris. But we were doing like casino night. I was like, we should invite Chris at the casino. And then she goes, you're doing exactly what you said.
Thank you for your wife. Yes,
so, yes. And so I'm thinking.
So, yeah, Christmas. I love Christmas. I love it anyway. But yes, I do. I'm not Mr. Christmas. But yeah, I love it. I love the music, Christmas. I love everything about it.
Like you have to be the best present giver of all the nephews. I would just think that would be the pressure I would put on myself. Because you're out constantly singing the word.
Yeah.
And what's more the word than Christmas?
Yeah, and I'm on tour every Christmas.
Yes.
I do a Christmas tour every Christmas.
Yeah. The gifts would have to be A+ if I were known for Christmas.
Yes.
Now I'm known for my vision, so that's a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
Because I can just be like, I'm blind, Yeah. So I don't really have anything that I have to do. But when do you put up the Christmas tree at your house?
The Christmas tree is right after Thanksgiving.
Okay, so that's normal. Yeah, that's boring. We should change that.
We should-
you should do like when you text
you
all your
think-
friends, this one's it. You should do July 5th. And you're like,
July 5th. Let's
Christmas
just
is
light it
calling
up.
me. July 5th.
Christmas, I
let's put
feel it,
out.
guys. Christmas every day. Mm-hmm. Christmas is all year long.
I feel like there's a really common thread between country music and Christian music. I'll use the term very wide open Christian music. I feel like it's a very common thread. I think country music is very much based in its belief in God. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why so many artists are drawn to you. And I think the project that you did with a lot of the country artists, I would imagine those were all pretty quick yeses.
Yeah, it was really fun, man. It was something that I wasn't even trying to do. I think we talked about that, but I wasn't even trying to do it. It was just happened through just natural relationship, and just relationships started happening. It started, man, we should smash up our genres. It all, because it come from this, obviously country music came from the church, and you got the Ryman, which is a church. You got the whole thing comes out of the church. Rock and roll everything comes out of the church. If you want to get really going as far as art and everything like that, obviously that's where it all came from. It goes its other way, but it's so close.
We went to Austria. My wife and I did. Never been to Austria before, so we went to Austria, and it was amazing, right?
Wow.
Growing up, didn't go anywhere, right? So now it's like I'm just trying to go see stuff.
Yeah.
And we go into a church that was 2,000 years old, whatever it was. I mean, it was almost there. That's when I feel history. That's when I feel like the gravity of existence.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been into a couple of churches like that, but we went into one in Austria that was like you feel your guts move around a little bit because of everything that has happened underneath that roof. You ever go when you're traveling internationally? Do you ever go look at some of these really old worship? I'll just call them places of worship.
Yeah. Can I tell you about one?
Please.
And it'll be, you're like, well, duh, but no, I was in Israel, and I got to go to the site of the cross. And now in Israel, if you've been, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't,
I haven't, so I'm not going to know.
They build churches over everything, so it's not what you think in your mind, because they've made the church came, the Catholic Church came and built just to memorialize it or to enshrine the place. Built these churches over these places, so you're going inside a church to see like where the cross was or the tomb, empty tomb, and you're going to these huge churches, and they're ancient. But at the side of the cross, there was a place. They have the stone where they say and that Jesus was laid when they took him off the cross. This is the stone where Joseph would have taken him off of Arimathea, and they laid him down to dress the body. And you talking about, it's something I'll never forget. Because here's what I saw. This was a normal day, in the line of people that were lined up. I mean, hundreds of people for hours. And I looked at my tour guide and I was like, is this like this every day? And he said, obviously not now for the wars and things like that. He goes, this was a few years ago. He said, it's every day. And it was every kind of person, Bobby. It was like people, it was like beautiful African dress. It was Asian. It was poor. It was rich. It was like every kind of person you can think of and looks like lined up. And I watched, and as everyone approached that stone, and I watched these ladies just kneel at that stone and and kiss that stone. And I thought, wow, it was a little picture of heaven for me. I was like, wow, this is, sometimes we think heaven looks like America or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks nothing like that. This was the whole world. This was like Tuesday. And the world, every kind of person's lined up. And he's like, every day they line up, people are in this line just to stand there and just to kiss the stone where Jesus was laid. And it was one of those, you talking about everything inside you moving. I just stood over to the side and just watched people in their act of worship, really, just come and kneel there and just thank God. And just, you could tell people, and they would just, some people would pray, some people would just have a moment and just stop and think and just pray. And you could tell their gratitude in their heart. And I was like, man, what a picture, what a beautiful picture of heaven. So when I get to travel, I try to go to these places and just, I'm so moved.
Worship has gone through, we talked about this a bit, like stylistic changes over the past 20 years. From when you started, which isn't, because again, you it's not like you were 7 doing this.
No.
You know, your origin is not that. Like, it was a bit later.
Yeah.
Stylistically, what have you seen change in concert, like live? I don't just want to say music because it's more of an experience, but with Christian music, what have you seen stylistically change in the past 20 years?
Oh my goodness, it's so much. Well, it's so much more popular, I think, across our country, and it's so much. It continues to grow, which is awesome. The as far as the live experience and concert, but I would say from when I started, it was little simple songs of a chorus, and that's what was like shaking the church. It was like, oh my gosh, these guys are radical. They're singing with a guitar and don't bring the drums. It was still literally that. Still, like, don't bring the drums, and okay, we'll let the guitar, but that's pushing it. And now, you know, churches are filled with just modern music, and that's how it's changed. But in a way, but I still feel people. I still see, even in the younger generations, you still see people longing for the simplicity, longing for not all the lights and the sound and the everything, but more of just what's real. I think more than anything now, people are just longing, what is real? Don't just put on a show, but what is really real? People are longing for what's real, and that's what I try to hopefully give people in my concerts and my other friends as well, is show people what's real. And but yeah, I mean, it's definitely progressed a lot, especially in the church.
When you say what's real, what I think about is, and I think you're referring to like authenticity,
Yes.
meaning you're not up. And I think in part of what I do as well, like if I'm up and I'm perfect and shiny, that's not real. And I can act like a better version of what I am, but that is not going to resonate. It may feel better to me to be like, look at me.
Yeah.
Life's great. Got it all figured out. Follow along. And again, for my ego, that might feel pretty good. But I also know that people are not going to connect with that. They're actually going to connect with me when it's like, yeah, I suck at this. I struggle with this.
Yes.
I'm good at this. When you say that, that's what I hear. Like, you're able to share not just the glossy part of life or worship.
Exactly, because that doesn't help anybody. And that's what I think when I say people are longing for the truth, longing for the real. Don't just don't gloss everything over and like, oh, everything is good. You give your life to God and everything's roses. Life is hard. Life is unfair. Life comes at everybody in such hard ways. But what do you have in those moments? I heard somebody recently say, when the storms come, it separates the players from the pretenders. And that's the truth in life. When the storms come, that separates everybody from those who are pretending and those who are really there, who are really like, and that hit me, That's as old as Jesus' teachings, right? You can build your house on the rock, you build your house on the sand. When the storms come, one's going to stay, one's going to crumble. And I think that's what people are longing for. When I say real, that's what I mean.
How long you been married?
14 years.
What's the key?
The key is, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? That is the key. I mean, that is the key. The key is just pride, pushing pride down, pushing Saul.
Yeah.
Pushing Saul away of like, I deserve this, or I rule this, or whatever. That's the key, I think, is, there's good days and there's days. I'm so blessed by Lauren because she's just so honest and so on me. It makes me better. And
it's funny you lead with honest, because my wife's, and I'm 10 years behind you is why I asked that. Like in marriage, we've been married 4+ years. And yeah, my wife's honest, but sometimes it doesn't feel good.
Mm-mm.
But it's greater. Like it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
but she's like the first person that I trust to be honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it doesn't feel good. And the key for me so far has been, when you said that, it resonated like crazy, has been not to be so defensive so quick.
Yeah, so easy. I get
Easy.
so defensive.
Me too. And to understand that.
Do you know all that I'm doing?
Yeah,
do you know?
yeah.
Do you know what's coming at me? Do you know all the things? I mean, instantly. And then it's like that. That does not work. That does not work. And you have to. And you catch yourself. And sometimes it takes me, 20 minutes. Sometimes it might take me a couple of days. To like, okay, what am I doing? I'm really in a bad place here, in my pride and in my defensiveness. And
My wife is smarter than I am, which sucks. It does, sucks. I mean, it's awesome, but it's the same, right? It's like your strength is your greatest weakness. But it's like she's smarter than I am. She's funnier than I am. She's funnier than I am in a world where I'm celebrated for being funny. And what drives me insane is that she has no need or desire to monetize it. None. She does not want to be public. I'm like, you're wasting this talent. Look at this God-given talent you have, and it's just sitting here.
Yeah.
No, and that. But for her, I also can accept her honesty most of the time in what I'm creating, and I think that's been so valuable, but very hard, especially at first.
Yes.
When she would tell me a joke wasn't funny, I'd be like, "Well, you write it." And the first time she did and rewrote it, I was humbled. I couldn't have been more humbled.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible. It was a terrible day, but a great day. But I was like, okay, if you think it's... I did the Opry. And so I'm doing the Opry. I've played the Opry 15 times or so. But like one of the times I did the Opry, I'm up and I'm telling a joke and I came off and I'm just ready to be celebrated. Hey, great job, great job. Just the natural. You walk off stage, part of it is, hey, everybody tell me how good I did. Even if I don't consciously say that, that's just...
Of course.
You come off...
Yeah.
That's the expectation because that's what happens a lot of times. They're just like, oh, you did great. And we walk off and we get in the car and she was like, I said, hey, how do you think it went? She goes, I thought it was fine. She goes, and she alluded to one part of the set. She was like, that was too low-hanging fruit for you. And I said, oh, I was shocked. I was like, whoa. I was like, what?
Yes.
She was like, that was too low. You're better than that. Like, you can do better than that. Dude, I'm telling you, this is like 7 minutes after I'm off stage. I'm in the car ready to have my wife, who I love more than anything, be like, oh, honey, you're the best. You think I love you. Everything you do is delightful. And so she's like, that fruit's too low. You got do better. And I'm like, well, then you do it. And she's like, well, I'm not the one that's whatever. We get home and like 20 minutes later, she'd rewritten the joke.
She rewrote it.
And it was better. And I used it in my special. And that hurt. And it hurt. But again, that was a very minor storm. Like you're talking about the storms, right?
Yes.
Like that was a single cell organism storm.
Yes.
But was much stronger after, and it's made me better at realizing, I need that honesty.
Yeah.
In many ways, and it's not just that. Like that's the funny version of it. But even in like, I never grew up with a family. Like I don't have a family. Never had a family. To have Christmas Eve with like her family, bizarre, foreign. Not because they do anything weird. They're not naked or anything. But it's like, I never did that.
Family together.
Yeah, it's everybody being together. You're like, watching a movie, waking, all of it. And that was really difficult for me. And it's still foreign to me. But my wife, and the reason I ask about the wife is because I know, and I just wonder how, because we're similar. You're creating, you have to be constant.
Yes.
How your wife affects you in that situation.
Yeah, she makes me, what she has done is made me such a better present to people. I don't know if she's really affected the music as much, but it's just the way I am with people, the way I connect with people, the way I talk with people, the way I understand things. She's helped me so much that I did not before. And most of my friends who have been with me, I've got bandmates, right, that have been with me way longer than I've been married. They've known me longer, and all of them would say, "You're such a better person."
Same.
You're such a better person,
Yeah.
and so that's amazing, and that's marriage. Marriage is it's no one says marriage is easy, but it is a it's such a refining thing, and I'm so grateful for her and grateful for my girls and 3 daughters, and they're amazing.
Worship Under the Stars. You're doing the series. So a couple days in July and then in October. And by the way, it's in New York, Baltimore. You're doing Red Rocks. That's cool.
Yes.
Not that they're not all cool, but that's
cool.
That's cool.
In Central Park, it's my first time there, too, in New York.
Oh, yeah, that's cool, too. They're all cool. That's my point.
Yeah.
They're all cool. Red Rocks, those things.
Red Rocks is
That's going to be
awesome.
super cool. So what's happening here?
Which, I just sometimes the settings are just so beautiful. Especially when it comes to music, settings are make music so great. But when it comes to, especially when you worship music, when you have beautiful settings, like when I played Red Rock several times, and I always say, if you cannot help people connect with God at Red Rocks, you've got serious. You need to go sell houses or something, because you don't need to be in music, right? Because it's already, the setting is so incredible. And so, yeah, we wanted to put together some nights of just beautiful settings, beautiful evenings, good, beautiful places, and have these beautiful nights. So call Worship Under the Stars, and maybe it grows from here, but this is our first 3, and the Pier 6 in Baltimore, which is a beautiful thing out on the harbor, Central Park, and then Red Rocks. And it's gonna be awesome.
I want to end with this, and I want to indulge myself with a story from me first. Like 5 or 6 years ago, I decided, maybe longer than that now, maybe 10 years ago, I don't know. I decided I'm not going to curse anymore. I used to love cursing. I used to be really great at it. Olympic sport. If it's an Olympic sport,
That's something
I was going to medal. Yeah, I was going to medal.
That's something to be talented in.
Yeah, I was good at it. And I thought, I'm done cursing, and not for any sort of moral reason, but because I didn't want to have it as a crutch when creating. So if I were writing jokes, if I were doing a radio show, I was writing books.
Yes.
I didn't want to, because it can be funny. It can also be a crutch that you use whenever you're not funny. And I wanted to challenge myself. So I really haven't said a curse word in 10 years or so. And so not as a celebration of myself, but then when people say a bad word around me, they'll go like, oh, I'm sorry. Because they know I don't curse. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like I used to. If people curse around you, I feel like they'd be like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Chris.
It really bothers me.
It bothers me.
It bothers the heck out of me when people say that.
Yeah, when they're like so apologetic.
It doesn't bother me when people curse. Let me say that.
Same.
It bothers me when people think that for some reason, because I do what I do, again, that feels weird. I'm just like, come on, man, that's normal. I feel the same way. May not say it the same way.
Right.
I feel the same way. And yeah, it's always bugged me so much. And I'm always like, come on, bro. Don't say that.
Same. I'm like, I'm good. I've heard him before. I used to say him. Yeah, same. But I wonder if that happened. And I knew, like if you're playing golf and someone's like, bleep. They're probably like, oh, Chris, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you still play? You playing?
Yes, and you're coming.
I know. I haven't played. I hurt my shoulder bad last year, so I stopped playing. And then here's the problem, Chris, if I'm being honest. I started playing pickleball.
And you're just did you have you totally dove like fully on pickleball? You're one of those guys.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I have a court, right? Did you see it when you walked in?
I did.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Chris. I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking.
Oh my gosh, we need to talk about this.
I'm really into pickleball. And I'm going to tell you, but I love golf, but here's the problem with golf.
No, I want to talk about the difference between tennis and pickleball.
I'd be happy to. But here's the problem with golf. It takes too long. And I play golf. I used to play golf all the time.
It takes too long.
But I don't have 3 or 4 hours.
100%.
Because I am so insecure that I feel like I have to work all the time just to prove to myself I'm worthy, that I don't block out the hours to go play golf. But I can go pickleball in an hour.
And you get a workout, and you feel better. All the
that.
things.
And I love golf. And yes, and you've been so. I'm playing your golf tournament. Probably the only time I'm gonna kill somebody with a ball. You know what? I'm in though. For the Lord, I'm in, Chris. I will hit someone with a ball for the Lord. So have you played pickleball at all?
Yes, I do like pickleball, but it's all my tennis friends are like, it's so much better than tennis, and I'm like, it's not.
Oh yeah, I think it. Well, okay.
Here's why.
One of my best
because
friends,
everybody can play pickleball. Not everybody can play tennis.
I agree. One of my best friends in the whole world, groomsman, Andy Roddick, former number 1 tennis player in the world.
Pretty good.
That's my guy, right? And so he makes fun of pickleballers like crazy. Like just really gives it to him. Like you guys are lame. And so he calls and he goes, hey, this is like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. He goes, hey, you're playing pickleball, right? I said, yeah. I said a little bit. Brett Eldridge, one of my best friends, had the first court like of our group.
Yeah.
And so we'd all go to Brett's house and play all the time. And so I was like, yeah, I play, maybe once a week, twice a week. And he says, it's probably pretty easy, right? I'm like, well, you were number 1 in the world. Like, you won U.S. Open. I feel like for you, it's going to be pretty easy. He goes, Okay, cool. I said, why? You hate pickleball? He goes, yeah, I still hate it. He goes, but I'm playing in a tournament like a week and a half for $1 million. And I said, and you haven't played? And you're playing?
Wow.
And he was like, yeah. He goes, it's on ESPN. And I was like, get around and hit a little bit first. He goes, well, I am. I'm going to work out a few days before. And he won.
He won.
Yeah, no, he won. He won.
So does that tell you how good he is or how lame pickleball is? That you don't have to play.
It can be both.
And can win a tournament.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think, one, how good he is, because he started playing when we were running together hard, because he'd be gone for 8 months at a time, because tennis is international. He's all around the world, hardly ever home. But he'd be home 4 months a year, and we would hang out all the time. And so we play golf, and we started playing around the same time. And I watched him go from shooting 106 to like 77 in about 3 months.
Wow.
Because his hand-eye coordination.
He's so good. Yeah.
Yes. So pickleball, he started playing it and got real good, which, by the way, he tore his meniscus like the day before the tournament and still won. Which is crazy. So there's a lameness to it when it comes to tennis. But I like pickleball because the floor is higher, meaning Meemaws can play.
Yes.
But to be good, like I could probably wax you pretty good right now back there because I have yeah.
You could, yeah, because I understand, because I get out and hit my friends who play and they kill me. And I understand there's a skill to it, there's strategy, all the things.
But it's better than tennis.
No, it's not. And what about pickleball on TV? That's what I really can't get in.
Okay.
Do you watch it
It's
on TV?
difficult for me too, and I will be full disclosure, I own part of a Major League Pickleball team.
Okay. This is so good.
Yeah, so
this is another podcast. We need to go.
And it's difficult at times. I don't think they have mastered. It reminds me of like the '60s when they started shooting football from the top of the bleachers, and they really didn't have the angles or know how to. It feels like that right now, that they've tried to make it tennis, and it's not. It's a different game.
It's a different game.
So I don't feel like they've captured the content in a way that reflects how fun the game is.
Probably.
So I think that needs to progress. Yes.
Needs some help.
But I do think that pickleball is
like I'm watching Wimbledon, and
not everybody can play tennis. Honestly, they can't. Not everybody can play tennis.
Right.
And also, tennis to me was a rich person's game. We didn't. The equipment, you could buy a paddle now for like $30 and a little plastic ball.
Yeah.
Smaller court. Yes, it's lame, but it's my lane. So I will defend it.
It's not lame. I like it. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's a great game. But I'm just saying, it's that when I saw them trying to do it on TV, I was like, oh,
yeah,
wow,
it doesn't know justice.
This is hard.
Yeah, it's like wiffle ball to baseball. It's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it can't be fun and competitive and get a little workout in. And but it's better. I didn't like tennis. I never liked tennis.
I loved it. Gosh, I loved it. I was never like a Andy Roddick. I always wanted to be. But.
Did you have tennis at your high school?
Yeah, we had
okay, so we didn't. I never was exposed to it, so I probably would have been pro, if I'm being honest. Probably, I don't know. How would I not have been?
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, look at you.
Look at me now. Yeah, I couldn't be any more pro.
Look at you.
Okay, look. You guys follow Chris on Instagram at Chris Tomlin.
Oh, you're too kind.
So, After Your Heart is in House of David.
Yep.
Okay, the song. The Last Supper, which you are an executive producer of.
Yes.
And No Greater Love is in the credits. Don't stop watching until the song finishes.
Yes. Yeah. Once the movie ends.
Yeah. So watch it, but then don't stop until the credits roll.
That's right.
Okay. And then as of now, you can watch the first time. The documentary is on the Wonder platform. And then the song, as of now, because it is beyond April 11th when this airs, it is on anywhere you stream music.
That's right.
And the Good Friday. But you don't need to tell Good Friday ticket. You're good.
No, we're good. We're good. We don't have enough seats. Good Friday.
Okay.
That's good. And you're coming. We'll see if your wife's parents come, we'll see.
If they come, it's because they wanted to come to the show for you. If they don't come, it's because you didn't convince them. It wasn't enough of a factor to convince them. Yeah.
Got it.
But either way, I will say, I was genuinely moved, and I am jaded as all get out. And I was genuinely moved by the show.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we kid around, but in all seriousness, full sincerity, genuinely moved.
Well, I appreciate you saying it, and I hope you can come this year because it'll be really special.
The part that I didn't like, though, the honest part, this is the part I didn't like.
This is your wife speaking right now.
Yeah. It's that when we pulled down, because you were so nice to give us good parking, I saw who all the special guests with surprises were by the parking spots with their names on it. So, yeah, I mean, that's rich person problems.
Yeah.
But I saw like, oh, Laney. Oh, and I was like, oh, there's no surprises now. I just saw everybody who's parking down there in the parking Chris gave us. That's the part I didn't like.
Yeah.
But you did. But the show was excellent. But next time, maybe I just blindfold myself and sit passenger and let my wife walk me
Got a
in.
better idea. We're going to put you out.
No. Let's not do that. I like exactly where we were. We had the best parking spot.
I got parking where you will not know.
No.
I promise you.
I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I want the
not
parking.
even marked.
The same parking. At Chris Tomlin. You guys go see Chris. It's an excellent show. And Chris, good to see you, man. That was awesome.
Thank you, man. It's good to be here.